Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
Why?
no.
I want to be married.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but there's this movement of men showing off their passports and saying that they're going to go to other countries to find women because the women here in America don't meet their standards. They say that women aren't agreeable enough, are too masculine and all of this, and that they think that women in other places are more grateful and more appreciative of men like that. If you feel like you have to go to an impoverished nation and you have to find women who will do anything for citizenship, even marry you, good luck. I mean, nobody is stopping you. There's nobody grabbing you around your ankles and letting you drag them. No one is interested in stopping you. Go ahead.
Even China too. A lot of people come to China, maybe for work or for something, but then they like focus on like Chinese girls or like Asian girls. You know what I mean? I think for them, they might think it's like easier, which is disgusting, guys. Like, stop.
So what do you suggest the women in the West do if everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in the West then?
Well, that one study we referenced what said by 2030 or something, 50% of women will be without a man. So that's the direction we're heading, because the men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas. And then the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
Look, this is classic deflection. These women are hearing men explain exactly why they're leaving. Western dating feels toxic, with unrealistic expectations, constant tests, lack of appreciation, and a culture that demonizes traditional masculinity. And instead of reflecting on any role their side plays, they jump straight to disgusting, impoverished nation, citizenship, and good luck. It's like they're mad the option exists at all. There's nothing wrong with men seeking foreign partners. In fact, it's one of the smartest moves a man can make in 2026 if he's serious about marriage and family. The data backs it. Surveys and trends show growing numbers of men, especially under 40, citing feminine energy, family-oriented values, mutual respect, and lower drama as reasons for looking abroad. Places like Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, Latin America, where cultural norms still emphasize partnership over power struggles. Over 1.2 million American men are already married to foreign-born women, and that's not some fringe thing. It's globalization of dating. Men aren't running to desperate women. Many are successful, career-driven guys who can afford to travel or relocate because they value peace and loyalty over ego battles. And that projection the man mentioned, it's real. Morgan Stanley and similar analyses have forecasted around 45% of women 25 to 44 single and childless by 2030, up from lower numbers, driven by career focus, high standards, and dating fatigue. If traditional men, the ones who want to provide, lead, and build families, are consistently rejected or shamed here for wanting agreeable, appreciative partners, why stay in a market that punishes them? They expand the pool globally. The what happens to Western women question is telling. It's not men's job to fix a system that many women helped create by prioritizing independence over partnership. If options dwindle, that's the natural outcome of supply and demand. Men are simply exercising choice, the same way women do when they ignore 80% of guys on apps.
The ones that are leaving the United States to go find themselves a bride overseas are exactly the ones that we never wanted. I mean, and it's really obvious here. There's two really big things that stick out. It's like the emperor's not wearing clothes. Number one, you mean to tell me, sir, you have exhausted all of your dating options, which forces you to go overseas to seek a bride who really is only interested in your American dollars. It's really that bad. You got nothing. Because women, they have options every day. That is the case for all women. All women have options because women are always going to be desired by men. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Number two, and this one is even more obvious. You mean to tell me that you can either put your life substantially on hold to go seek your overseas bride or completely abandon and pack up the life that you have here and start it somewhere else? that tells me a lot about your job. Okay, it means that whatever it is that you're doing is not that important and thus not that high paying. Okay, because if you can just quit your job, well, you don't have income coming in. If you can just up and go, that means, you probably don't have a really great work history or work ethic anyway. You are obviously not a business owner, because small business owners cannot abandon their business, sometimes not even for a week. Someone who's really dedicated and ambitious, they're not going on long vacations, or they're working during they don't have time to go seeking kitty cat in another country. If it is some sort of really important position, they're not taking the time away from their number one love. A man's number one love is his money, and he makes his money from his job. He's not taking the time away from his number one love unless that thing is really not yielding much and is that unimportant.
Oh man, this is peak projection and cope. She's painting passport bros as desperate losers with no options, no money, no ambition, basically the bottom of the barrel. But reality doesn't match. Many of these guys are average to successful professionals, digital nomads, or entrepreneurs who leverage remote work or savings to travel. The passport bro trend includes men who could date locally but choose not to because the vibe here is exhausting. Endless swiping, ghosting, high body counts expectations, or being called creepy for approaching. Point 1. Exhausted all options ignores that men face brutal rejection rates and hypergamy in the West. Women do have more options, but quantity not equal to quality. Men aren't chasing American dollars desperation. They're seeking mutual value, respect, femininity, family focus. That feels rarer here due to cultural shifts. Many foreign women value providers without the resentment or independent boss babe attitude that turns men off. Point 2. Dismissing their jobs/careers is hilarious. Plenty relocate without quitting. Remote work exploded post-2020. Others build businesses abroad or take sabbaticals because family, grinding in a system that doesn't reward them. Calling it seeking kitty cat reduces it to sex tourism, but stats show many lead to real marriages and families. This is shaming men for having agency. If a man can afford to expand his search globally, that's ambition, not failure. She's mad because it removes leverage. Western women can't assume men will settle for whatever scraps are left.
It is very clear to me that men do not see their wives as people. They see them as an extension of themselves, someone that they want to control completely and totally. That is why you will often see conservative men who are anti-immigration marry women who are immigrants, because these women move from another country for this man. They have no friends and they're terribly isolated. There is no sense of community and no support network, which makes it virtually impossible to leave him, because also if she does, she has to move home. She can't stay in the United States. There is a whole other racial element of white men going to the Philippines and going to these other countries, literally taking a wife. It's called bride shopping, and they're known as passport bros, and bringing them back to the United States. They don't want a wife who has opinions or rights or autonomy, because then she'll actually recognize he's a loser and leave him, which is why this is an incredibly common pattern rooted in ownership, not in actual support for immigration.
This is a huge reason why men left foreign women. Foreign women, unlike Western women, are actually taught from a young age on how to treat men properly. Western culture, women are raised with entitlement, and they're only taught on what to expect from men, not on how they should treat men. Men are only taught on how to treat women, but not on what they should expect in return from women.
See women traveling overseas to
men
find
are
husbands?
traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources, to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
Stop it.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
Here we go with the nuclear accusations: control, ownership, isolation, pervy, bride shopping, racial elements, dependency exploitation. This is the standard playbook to paint the whole thing as predatory. But let's break it down objectively. First, the control and isolation claim. Sure, Some bad actors exist in every dating scene, but most passport bros stories involve mutual relationships where women choose based on better opportunities, stability, and respect, not forced dependency. Many foreign wives build careers, learn English, make friends, and stay happily married. Visa processes are strict, abuse gets reported. Generalizing to impossible to leave ignores agency. Women aren't helpless. The anti-immigration conservatives marrying immigrants hypocrisy angle. Some do, but that's politics versus personal life. Many support legal immigration for spouses/family. It's not contradiction. It's prioritizing personal compatibility. Taught to treat men properly versus entitlement. This hits the core. In many non-Western cultures, there's emphasis on mutual roles. Men provide/protect. Women nurture/support. Without the constant, equality means sameness, push, that leads to resentment. Western women aren't inherently bad, but social media/TikTok amplifies demands, high earner, tall, etc., while shaming men who want traditional reciprocity. Men aren't seeking no opinions. They want partners who don't weaponize independence against them. Dependency? Many men seek equals in values, not slaves. Lower-cost countries allow single-income families, which appeals to men tired of dual career stress. Pervy dudes exist, but lumping everyone in is lazy. The movement grows because men feel seen and valued abroad, appreciated for effort, not judged. If Western women want men to stay, maybe address why so many feel undervalued here.
It's like, I don't know, it's like sometimes people feel, they make a scene because they want you to be devastated by it. You don't gotta show nobody your passport, just go ahead and book your flight. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You want the women to care so bad. You want somebody to say, no, please don't go. And women they're too busy on vacation. They're too busy in their high rises. They're too busy dating other men of other nationalities themselves. They're too busy enjoying their single life. Nobody has noticed. You're kicking and screaming, hoping to get somebody's attention, and you're not getting it. You don't have to show anybody your passport. If you want to go get somebody who will do anything for citizenship, even marrying you, go ahead and get her, sir.
This is pure cope dressed up as indifference. She's trying to flip it like men are desperate for validation, kicking and screaming for attention, while women are supposedly unbothered, living their best single lives in high rises and dating globally. But notice the contradiction. She's bothered enough to make a whole video about it, mocking passport posts and citizenship motives. If nobody cares, why the energy? The reality is, men aren't posting passports to beg women to stop them. Many are sharing wins, successful relationships, better vibes, family life, because it's validating after years of rejection or toxicity here. The nobody cares line is projection. Western women have been told they have endless options, so when men opt out en masse, it stings. Dating other nationalities? Sure, some women do, but stats show young women aren't dating much either. Only about 1 in 3 young adults actively dating in 2026, per recent reports like the Wheatley Institute study. The dating recession hits everyone, but men are responding by expanding horizons globally, not whining. And the do anything for citizenship jab, it's reductive. Many foreign women choose these relationships for genuine compatibility, stability, respect, shared values, not just papers. Men aren't tricking anyone. Visas are rigorous, and real marriages happen. If women are too busy enjoying single life, cool. Men are too busy building families abroad where appreciation flows both ways. No one's devastated. They're thriving. The scene making is coming from the side that's losing leverage, not the guys quietly booking flights.
So a lot of the single guys at my husband's job, they're going overseas to look for wives, right? Going to places like Thailand, Philippines, Japan, Vietnam, places like that to look for these wives. The biggest struggle for them is having to eat rice 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the problem they've been running into. They were like, I just can't, they just don't understand how they can eat that much rice and why they eat so much rice. And I think they got tired of the women, you know, forcing them to eat, and everything is with rice. And so that's the issues they've been running into going overseas to find these wives.
Haha. Okay, this is next level petty. Reducing men's serious life decisions to can't handle rice 3 times a day. It's laughable deflection. These guys aren't quitting because of rice. That's a silly cultural adjustment anecdote at best. In places like the Philippines or Thailand, rice is a staple. It's cheap, filling, cultural, but plenty of men adapt, enjoy it, or mix in other foods. The real struggle stories online are often humorous, not deal breakers. The underlying message here is to belittle the entire passport bro trend. They tried, failed at basic food, came running back. But evidence doesn't support that as widespread. Many men stay, marry, have kids, and report higher satisfaction, better femininity, less drama, mutual respect. If rice was the big issue, the movement wouldn't be growing. This is classic shaming. Trivialize men's choices to make them seem immature or incapable. Meanwhile, these same women complain about Western men being immature or not stepping up. Men go abroad for peace, partnership, and values alignment, not to conquer cuisine. If some complain about rice, it's human. Culture shock happens, but it's not why they're there or why they stay. It's a weak attempt to poke holes in something that's working for a lot of guys.
American men go overseas for women for, I'm going to say, a couple reasons. One, that most of the guys are going to say, is that they find that American women, now I'm not saying I agree with this, but they say that American women are a little more hard, a little pickier, harder to please, that type of thing, which, you know, maybe we are. And you know, and the thought is that somebody from another country, especially European women, they kind of are a little sexier, a little more go with the flow. They're not as concerned as, like, you know, with their checklist as we are. They're not maybe as OCD. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not wound as tight, basically. So that's kind of the first thing. I think in a nutshell, they would say that, you know, they go to Europe because they, you know, think women are a little more easygoing over there. All right. Now, the other theory that I have is that there's certain men, and not all, certainly, but I think there are those men who are just controlling, and they want a woman who is going to be, you know, somebody that is more of an object, more of a trophy wife, somebody that they can control, essentially. And she's, you know, English won't be her first language.
Men are traveling out of the U.S. just to find a wife. I was watching a podcast the other day, and it went on to explain why men are traveling out of the States to find a wife. To sum it all up, they say that women from other countries are well-educated, classy, elegant, very feminine, and they understand how to give and take in relationships, instead of being demanding, entitled, and ungrateful for things that men do for them. And I'm not saying all, but some women in America have grown so entitled and demanding. Basically, they think that they can treat a man however they want and they can get away with it. Treat a man poorly, and then they criticize their looks when they're not in the best shape themselves. Agree or disagree all you want, but men do like feminine women. They like when women behave feminine, and they like when women take care of themselves. Want a good man, but they're tired of our BS. So much, in fact, that they're traveling overseas just to find a wife that respects them.
Finally, some honesty mixed in. The first part admits the main reasons men give. American women can be harder to please, pickier, checklist heavy, wound tight. She even laughs. Maybe we are haha. That's closer to self-awareness than most. Men seek go with the flow, less OCD, more easygoing energy, especially in Europe for that sexier, relaxed vibe. That's accurate to what passport bros say. Less hypergamy pressure, more mutual appreciation. Then she pivots to the controlling theory, wanting a trophy, object, language barrier for control. This is the go-to smear, painted as predatory. But most men aren't seeking voiceless trophies. They want partners who communicate respect, femininity, and reciprocity. Language barriers exist but get overcome. Many couples thrive with effort. The podcast clip nails it. Foreign women often seen as educated, classy, elegant, feminine, balanced in give and take, not demanding / entitled / ungrateful. Not all American women, but enough cultural trends, social media amplified checklists, criticism without self-reflection, push good men away. Men like feminine energy, nurturing, appreciative, self-caring because it complements masculinity. Tired of RBs, likely red flags or roller coasters. Totally fair. Overseas, they find respect without constant tests. Over 1.2 million American men already married to foreign-born women, U.S. Census data, and the trend grows in 2026 amid the dating recession. Nothing wrong with it. It's men choosing compatibility over settling in a market that often punishes traditional roles. If some women admit the pickiness / entitlement issue, that's progress. The controlling accusation is overblown projection. Real stories show mutual partnerships, not ownership. Men are voting with their passports for better dynamics. If that bothers some, maybe reflect on why the local options are losing appeal.